Smitty announcement. Alert! Alert! This is an emergency live stream. Please stand by for a Smitty announcement. Alert! Alert! This is an emergency live stream. Please stand by for a Smitty announcement. Alert! Alert! This is an emergency live stream. Please stand by for a Smitty announcement.
Brees Hall is 8 foot tall. He will always answer the mother freaking call. Don't let him fall. In the third, don't stall. Just give Batman the freaking football.
He's Brees. He's Brees.
He does a hull of a job. A hull of a job. A hull of a job.
Brees Hall, please report to the moon.
Κοιτάς αχάλεπα job.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
What is going on, good people? We are here drafting live in the Fantasy Football Throne, but also, and first of all, we need to get into the news that's kind of hitting news wires right now. Deshaun Watson news. I know you guys sometimes get tired of hearing about these updates, but there are updates pretty much every other day. And I don't try and beat a dead horse on the exact same topic. I usually come in here when there is new news. And there has been at least one case, potentially more coming, where these potential alleged victims of the Deshaun Watson situation are filing lawsuits against the Houston Texans for being complicit or let me read the statement to you. Today we filed the first case of many to probably come of what is likely to be many cases against the Houston Texans related to Deshaun Watson's behavior, basically suggesting that they had overwhelming evidence that was collected indicating that the Houston Texans enabled Watson's behavior, and they're going to go after the Texans. I talked about this weeks ago, that the spotlight would eventually turn on to the Houston Texans, and here we are. The Texans definitely complicit in his behavior, providing non-disclosure agreements and meeting spots for Watson for a lot of these situations. Now, the Texans may not have known exactly what was going on. The Texans may not have been completely aware about all the situations. Maybe they knew about some. There apparently is overwhelming evidence that will come out later that they may have had insight that Deshaun Watson was participating in these alleged activities that Watson says were consensual. The claimants say that they were not, but the Texans apparently knew what was going on. And what's going to be interesting is what happens to the Texans if evidence comes out that they knew something they didn't reveal during the trade when maybe these things were inquired about. Because you can bet your bottom dollar that when the Browns and the Texans were negotiating this trade and setting it up, there was a lot that had to be talked about regarding Deshaun Watson. And my guess is there's verbiage and things in that trade that probably said you have to divulge whatever you know about these 22 cases at the time, the 22 cases that were on the table pending in civil court at the time of the trade. Then 2 more cases popped up, which made it 24, 20 of which have currently settled. So as it stands right now, 20 cases are settling or finalizing the settling or have already been settled. There's a lot that gets told later on and things that happen behind closed doors at different paces. But 20 of the 24 cases were settled. 22 of them were on the table at the time of the trade. 2 new cases came into the spotlight after the trade was executed, and 2 more potential cases are pending on this situation of being filed. So you might have what now is 4 cases of the 24 that are still not settled and potentially going to trial. Those 4 cases could grow to 6 if the 2 reported cases do end up getting filed that were talked about weeks ago. And then you wonder, does 6 turn into 10? Does 6 turn into 20? Does 6 turn into whatever? Because there are, some say, 60 to 100 of these individuals that were set up in these similar situations for Deshaun Watson to meet with. So it's going to get ugly. If anybody thinks this is even the beginning, this might be literally the start of what could turn into a roller coaster ride, not only all off season, all in season, and into 2023. And there's a statute of limitations that ends March 15, I believe, roughly March 15 of 2023, meaning anybody in the 60 to 100 case, or anybody within the 60 to 100 population of people that may have been meeting with Deshaun Watson in similar circumstances as the 22 to 24 cases that were filed against Watson, those individuals could maybe come forward. When settlements happen, a lot of times people that have sat back, didn't want to be involved in it, they may come forward because they see that this thing's wrapping up. There's a blueprint and a path to a quicker settlement. So wouldn't shock me if 4, which is currently the case, turns into 6 because we heard about 2 cases pending, turns into 10, turns into 12. But by August 1, I will not be shocked one single bit if we are at 10 plus cases. Smash the like button on the way in the door. There's 52 to 60 of you popping in and out right now. Let's get this to 100 and let's subscribe. Smash subscribe. Let's go. Get on your horse and let's get into the throne draft, where we now have to talk about a little man named Tony Pollard and talk about Tony Pollard's season. I'm going to share my screen with you. This is the Fantasy Football Throne Draft, where you, the followers, draft our teams. We go to war. 12 different experts go to war, and our own soldiers, our boots on the ground, draft the team for us via vote, and then we take the teams into battle. You're looking at the draft right in front of your face. Let me lower this. Let me lower it, Smitty. Lower it, and you can see the entire draft board. We're currently on the clock at the 6.12. We took Mike Williams at 5.1. We took Herbert at 4.12. We took Breece Hall at 3.1. We took Tyreek Hill at 2.12, and we took JT at 1.1. We're currently on the clock. Kenneth Walker got sniped at 6.12. I'm telling you guys, his ADP is going to climb. In the real world, with people that know what they're doing, he's not lasting to 7, 8, 9. In best ball drafts, where you can go right now and take full advantage of people that don't know what they're doing, when it comes to Kenneth Walker, when it comes to DK Metcalf, when it comes to Jalen Waddle, when it comes to Joe Burrow, who's still on the board right now, like, part of me looks at this, and I don't really regret taking Herbert because we love Herbert. We think he could be the number 1 quarterback. Herbert's the GOAT. He'll punch you in the throat in 2022. There are not a lot of players that I regret not taking. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at Herbert at 4.12, if we would have not gone Herbert to save ourselves to grab Burrow at 6.12. Who would we have been able to get? Walker, I would have loved that. But right now we've got Tony Pollard on the board. And while I love Walker, Kenneth Walker is a league winner once he gets into the lineup. Make no mistake about it, it could take till week 4. Like, prep yourself. I don't want to hear in week 3 when Walker's not getting 80% of the volume, Smitty, Walker's a bust, are we here again? I'm telling you in advance that Walker might not get unleashed in weeks 1, 2, or 3. We know that. So don't come at me saying what's going on and lose your patience when I'm giving you a heads up that Walker is falling for a reason. But all of the risk is completely baked in to like even 6.10 value, let alone 7, 8, 9. And on Underdog Fantasy, if you click on this banner on thefantasyfootballshow.com or the link in the description, use promo code Smitty, play Underdog Fantasy, you can take advantage of Walker in round 7, 8, 9 like we're talking about, because people are literally just sleeping at the wheel when it comes to this Walker kid. He's got the potential to be a top 5 to 10 running back in 2022. Not in 2023, not in the future, of course in the future as well, but Walker could be a top 5 to 10 running back. So take full advantage of that in Underdog Fantasy Drafts. Promo code Smitty. Go there now by clicking the link in the description or the banner, or just using promo code Smitty, but it's easier to use the link in the description and take advantage of Underdog Drafts. So we're on the clock right now. First in the building today was Jeb. Appreciate you. Swaggy's in here. Four's in here. Dan, Jordan, Kid, Pearson's in the house. Media, Calvin. I know Media is going to want Ayuk here, which is fine. I mean, Ayuk's definitely going to be in consideration. So let's look at the draft or the rank list. These are the best players available. We don't need a quarterback, so we're going to isolate it down to running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends. The top running backs available are Cordero Patterson, Tony Pollard, Devin Singletary, Edmonds, James Cook, Rashad Penny, Melvin Gordon, Michael Carter, James Robinson, Isaiah Spiller, Ramondre Stevenson, Ronald Jones, Madison, Damian Pierce, Nyheim Hines, Rashad White. We love Rashad White. Darrell Henderson, Tyler Algier is a sleeper, but he could fall. J.D. McKissick, Gainwell, Mostert. Those are the picks. Really, if you're asking me, it's between, like, if you wanted to get bold and go James Cook or something, I can understand that. But it's Tony Pollard or Patterson. Patterson's a running back and wide receiver eligible on Sleeper. Now, granted, they could strip that away like ESPN stripped away the Taysom Hill tight end rights, which was ridiculous in my opinion. That was all part of strategy, and people got screwed that were thinking ahead because people are whining and complaining about that Taysom Hill situation. So running back, wide receiver is probably a little different, but Cordero Patterson is a running back and wide receiver eligible player on Sleeper, which is absolutely great. Problem is he's 31 years old. The problem is they're moving him out to wide receiver again, and they're probably going to lean on Tyler Algier, who I really like. And honestly, at first I'm like, yeah, Patterson's a good pick. Patterson would be a good pick. We can use him as a wide receiver or a running back. It's it's like a very sweet cheat code. But then you start thinking about being 31. You start thinking about, the fact that he wore down. I don't know. I'm torn on that. I feel like Tony Pollard is the clear call here. We've got 2 picks in a row. I feel like Tony Pollard is the easy call. Let's go ahead and start the vote. I'm going to probably go live on IG real quick and just let people know that we're live over here doing this. Let me just go live real quick. The Fantasy Football Throne on the clock. Okay. Let me post this live. So who are we going here? Let's vote on screen. I'll look at Instagram for the vote. Are we going Tony Pollard? Pollard is the only choice. Pollard and maybe a tight end. I'm pretty sure Tony Pollard's one of these picks. What's up, Thor? Who do you guys like here? Might want to get over to YouTube in order to know who's available, because Instagram, you're going to miss out on some of that. So youtube.com/The Fantasy Football Show. We are live talking about, let me pin that right here. So we're live on youtube.com/The Fantasy Football Show. Link in bio. Pollard, James Cook, Pollard, Waller, Schultz, they're both gone, bro. Well, way gone. Pollard, Elijah Moore and Pollard. I do like Elijah Moore. I do like Ayuk and Elijah Moore. We've got a real dilemma on our hands when it comes to the second pick, but it's pretty clear we're going Pollard here. G Money wants more. Yeah, let's talk about more on the next pick. G Money. I think we're pretty good on Pollard for this one. What tight ends? We need a tight end. Yeah, we do need a tight end. James Cook, Ayuk. Tight ends available are Hawkinson, Goddard, Dawson Knox, Ertz, Freiermuth, Gesicki. We definitely need a tight end, but let's look at the board and see who's got tight ends. Right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams have tight ends. I wouldn't be opposed to like Knox here, but I kind of feel like the value is really strong for Hopkins. So the wide receivers, Hopkins is interesting. Like if we can weather through Hopkins being out 6 games, I mean, he could be a league winner potentially. You know, like if we come out, 4 or 5 wins out of the first 6 games and we have Hopkins, I feel really good about that. It's really a tough pill to swallow though when you're going to be without a player for 6 weeks. It really is. But like once those 6 weeks are over, you reflect back and you're like, crap, we should have probably, looked at Hopkins. But I don't know. I'm tempted to look at Hopkins here. I'm tempted to say Ayuk is just better overall because you get potentially 17 games. Elijah Moore, I think, is the number 1 wide receiver in New York. I think people are writing him off too quickly just because Garrett Wilson was drafted onto the roster. I think Elijah Moore is going to have something to say about the number 1 spot there. So do you like the number 1 spot in New York, or do you like the number 2 spot at wide receiver in San Fran? Because make no mistake about it, the number 1 spot is Deebo Samuels. But Deebo did get a lot of run between the tackles last year. I do kind of wonder if he's going to, get hurt at some point. Drake London, Burks, Devontae Smith, Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Lockett, Renfro, Gabe Davis, Ayuk, Olave, Woods, Chase Claypool, Watson, Kirk, Sky Moore. I think we're going to put Tony Pollard in now. We'll plug Tony Pollard in. That's a pretty easy decision for us here. Pretty unanimous. Stay away from the Jets. I'll never understand why people just say that. Just because of the past, like they have a completely different team. They had the best draft you could possibly ever imagine. I don't think anybody will ever have a better draft in the next decade. Like this is you can't keep carrying that over. If you carry that over, you would have not seen the Bengals coming, and I guarantee you almost everyone watching didn't see the Bengals coming. Your boy Smitty said the Bengals are going to win the division. The Bengals turn it around. The Jets are going to turn it around. You can't just say that. The Jets are the Jets. They're always going to suck. It's not going to happen. The Jets are going to turn around. Every franchise eventually will turn things around at some point. And if you don't see the talent that the Jets have, I don't know what to tell you. Because the Jets are absolutely loaded. And half of that came in this draft. Absolutely loaded. So Tony Pollard is the pick. No objections. I don't see any objections anywhere. Take Pollard here since A.J. Dillon is gone. Pollard is now a part of our squad. Absolutely love it. Jonathan Taylor, Breece Hall, Tony Pollard. I feel pretty good about that. Now we're up to this last pick. Renfro, I don't want Renfro. Renfro's got a healthy Waller back. Devontae Adams. There's no way Renfro can deliver what people are expecting, in my opinion. So the question is Cordero Patterson, wide receiver and running back. It's an attractive proposition. It really is because of the duality of his eligibility. The fact that we could put him in at running back or wide receiver is very nice. Very nice. We would literally have 3 wide receivers, or we could have 4 running backs right now coming out of round 6. That's pretty nice. let's see here. Rashad Penny, James Cook, Michael Carter, James Robinson. Like and subscribe, says Raphael. Appreciate that, Raphael. Deshaun Watson may get appeal, play year, suspension 2023. I don't know what you're reading there, Garza, but basically what's going to happen, no one's more dialed into this than I am, bro. And what's going to happen is this guy Deshaun Watson is going to be potentially handed an indefinite suspension, bro. Because here's what I don't think you realize is that this discipline officer is deciding starting tomorrow on this case. It'll probably take a week to come down with a recommendation. And if there's discipline handed down at all, then Roger Goodell can step in and overrule the disciplinary officer on his appeal. And he's going to be suspended, bro. There's no question about it. It's a matter of, is he suspended for the whole year with some sort of open-ended, like we'll address more cases as they come in, or will he just be suspended indefinitely to make it easier on everybody because this stuff's going to continue to unravel. Now the spotlight's going over to the Houston Texans like I predicted and told you was going to happen weeks ago, that eventually the spotlight would turn. And what's horrible about this for Watson, if you even want to word it that way, because if you don't think Watson should play, then it's not, I guess, horrible. But if you think he should play, then it's horrible. If you're Watson and you think you're innocent and you are innocent, then it's horrible. Is that this spotlight is now going to make his 4 cases look that much worse. The fact that there's more negative attention now on the Texans, there's less of a chance Watson gets away with a lesser suspension. Because now it's like this is a big mess. It's almost like a bunch of flares have been ignited and there's smoke going up all around the entire situation now because the spotlight is now on Deshaun Watson and the Texans, not just Watson. It's on the Texans now. It's going to make it impossible for him to escape a suspension. Okay, where are we at here? I'm kind of thinking that if it's up to me, Killer, subscribe to the channel. Killer, appreciate you, buddy boy. Appreciate you. We are doing the. You subscribe to the channel, you become an exclusive member of the memberships part of the channel, which the link is in the description if you want to become a member of the channel and get those emojis and get the exclusivity when we lock the chat down to exclusive mode, member mode. Or if you want a super chat, you get standing ovations in this mug. We don't just sit down and unappreciate you. You get appreciated. Ayuk, or Elijah Moore. Ayuk. Devontae Smith or Hopkins. I like the idea of Hopkins, I do. Ayuk, it looks like Hopkins and Ayuk kind of have a little bit of a lead here. Renfro. No Renfro, bro. I like D-Hop, the idea of D-Hop. KO, I do like the idea of D-Hop, but I don't know. I don't like the idea of Renfro. He's not going to play, I think, as well. Russell Gage is interesting. It's a little early, but it's interesting. Edmonds, no thank you. Hopkins. Okay, so it's down to Hopkins, Moore. Dawson Knox, I don't mind that. It's down to Hopkins or Ayuk. It feels like it's Hopkins or Ayuk. I really like Elijah Moore, though, but let's be honest. It's down to Hopkins and Ayuk. So I'm going to put Ayuk on screen, and we're going to toss all the votes up. We're going to vote again, so bear with me 1 second. We're going to vote right now. Cast your vote. I'm only counting votes from this point moving forward on YouTube, and then I'll come back and circle back over to Instagram if there's any reason that we need a tiebreaker. Vote right now. Vote right now. If you missed narrowing it down, unfortunately, this is what we're talking about now. So we got a vote for Hopkins. We got a vote for Hopkins. We got a vote for Hopkins. Wow. I'm surprised that the Hopkins votes came in that hot, that quick. Ayuk. Kenny Walker's gone. I told you guys he was going to go. Everybody keeps telling me I'm drafting him too early. Moore's not on the table, Joel. Revote. Moore was on the table, but not enough votes. You got to nominate him when it's time. Hopkins. Wow, a lot of Hopkins votes. I don't mind the Hopkins vote. I feel like it's a little dangerous, but it's also a league winner. Ayuk, Hopkins. Oof. This is getting... Hopkins is going out to an early lead. Nuke all day by Terry. Ayuk from Swaggy. Tough one, says Banks. Hopkins in the 6th rounds baked in, says Vamp. D-Hop. Oh, D-Hop said... I did not expect D-Hop to come in strong like this. I thought Ayuk was going to kill him. Ayuk. Oh, Ayuk's coming back. Hopkins comes back. I don't know if you guys are... Some of you are double voting, and that's not good. Swaggy, have you already voted like 3 times? All right. Yeah, I am putting them in the wrong slots. Okay, so we got 1 Hopkins, 2 Hopkins, 3 Hopkins, 4 Hopkins, 5 Hopkins, 6 Hopkins, 7, 8, 9, 10... I gotta move these. I haven't counted these yet. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 Hopkins, 16 Hopkins. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14 to 16, 14 to 17, 14 to 18, 15 to 18, 15 to 19. I don't know if Scotty voted twice. 16 to 19. Swaggy, didn't you already vote? Scotty already voted Hopkins. I think it's Hopkins. Let's see what the IG chat. Okay, guys. D-Hop has way more upside, says KO. IG vote. Drop your vote. You guys are going to be the tiebreaker. This is tough. Wait, Smitty, I think I saw you put an Ayuk in the Hopkins pile by accident. I did, but I counted them properly, I think. So, D. Hopkins, you want some D. Hopkins news? Let's pull up the latest on Hopkins and just throw it on screen. I mean, there's not a whole lot. There was talk about like an appeal, and then he came out and kind of admitted, that he didn't admit what was put in his body. But let's see here. Hopkins has withdrawn his appeal of his 6-game suspension. Hopkins will now officially miss the first 6 weeks. Let's put this on screen here. And then there's another update. This is the second to last update on Hopkins right here. The timing of the suspension will allow Hollywood Brown to hit the ground running with his reunion with his Oklahoma quarterback Kyler Murray. It will also give a 2021 second-round pick Rondell Moore an opportunity to lock down a role in the slot. Either Moore or AJ Green will become a reserve once Hopkins returns. Hopkins could be a fantasy difference maker down the stretch, but managers will need to heavily discount him in drafts to reflect his 6-game suspension. He profiles as a 3-4 wide receiver, which is where we're drafting him. So we're not like over drafting him. We're definitely drafting him in the right spot. The question is Ayuk going to be better for 17 games And can we survive waiting on Hopkins? Will we be down 3 to, will we only have 3 wins and 3 losses by that time? What did I miss? Somebody just subscribed. Did somebody tell me what just happened? I missed the alert. I don't know if someone just subscribed to the channel. Who was it? Either way.
Mashed potatoes!
Yeah, buddy. I mean, I feel pretty confident plugging in either one of these guys, but Hopkins, Coach Cliff Kingsbury said Hopkins' knee will be full go for training camp. Hopkins' 2021 season was ended by a torn MCL in Week 14. Hopkins had to go under the knife after suffering the injury. He's been rehabbing it during OTAs, but Kingsbury commented, his comment indicates that the veteran wide receiver is nearly full go. Man. Hopkins is the play, says Banks. Let's do it. Never trust Ayuk when it matters. No Spiller. Yeah, Spiller. Come on. Get the Josh Palmer, Isaiah Spiller. Go full Charger stack. Get the Josh Palmer, Isaiah Spiller. I mean, maybe later we'll look at it, but that's crazy at this point, bro. There's just no way. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of these comments that are kind of all in the way, so nobody could see here. Let me delete these. So Ayuk, Hopkins was a close vote. I can't believe Hopkins won this. I didn't expect it. I'll take D-Hop for 11 games rather than Ayuk for 17. Ayuk was awful last year, says KO. Ayuk is on his way up. Hopkins is on the way down. Hopkins isn't on the way down. Like, guys, he's still got at least a year or 2 left. Hopkins it is. And I didn't influence that one. That one came out of nowhere. I'm okay with Hopkins, but I was pushing for Elijah Moore or Ayuk, maybe C-Pat, and then I liked Hopkins, but I did not expect Hopkins to win that, but I'm fine with it. Hopkins it is. Boom. Here's our team. Let me screenshot this bad boy and put it on screen because this is a pretty darn nice looking squad. Granted, we have D-Hop out. That does suck. Not going to lie. 6 weeks without him is going to be hard, but guess what? If we're in the money, if we pull off some wins, we're going to be looking pretty walking into the remainder of the season. Let's put our screen up on this one. Sorry. Here's our team. Herbert, JT, Breece Hall, Tyreek Hill, Mike Williams, DeAndre Hopkins, Tony Pollard. That Hopkins-Pollard duo is pretty nice. Congratulations to Vamp for being a member for 4 months on the YouTube exclusive membership, which you can find a link down in the description. Vamp, absolutely excited to have you be a member for 4 months, bro. Very appreciative of your support, Vamp. Vamp is always in here. Vamp is a myth and a legend here on the channel, and Vamp has a question that I believe I can answer here. Right here. Superflex and Dallas. Oh, San Francisco. I thought it was a Superflex question. San Francisco and Dallas have the same bye week, so you wouldn't have Pollard and Ayuk in the same week, says Vamp. Good observation, pal. What do our bye weeks look like? 14, 10, 11, 8, 13, 9. Yeah, we're good on buys. Not that buys matter. If anything, I think bye weeks all in 1 week is better than bleeding out slowly all year. But either way, buys don't really matter ultimately. Appreciate you, homie. You're the man. Saquon and the 24 second for Montgomery and a 23 first. It depends on where the 23 first is, bro. But you could argue either side of that. It's close. It just depends on that where that first rounder is, bro. We trusting C. Patterson all season? I don't know. We didn't take him, so clearly not. Not yet. Not at 6th round value. But yeah, what a team, guys! I'm proud of us. I think we made the right calls, and I wasn't even like on the Hopkins train Foley, I was leaning toward it. Like, I liked it when I saw Hopkins still sitting there. I'm like, Hopkins is there. You know, so like after I said that, I didn't expect you guys to come in strong on Hopkins. I'm very proud of you. It was the right call. Like, by the time I was gonna draft, I would have swayed myself alone in a room by myself. I would have been like, Hopkins is the upside. So I'm proud of you guys. That was good. D Hop is a great selection. I mean, it just made, granted it's a name, so you got to be careful not to just be like, you know, oh, let's look at the name Hopkins. But like when you look at this team, it's like, that's a threat. That's a threat. Not to mention, does anybody realize why D Hopkins is kind of been slowed down as of late? It's because the man gets double teamed for a living. With Hollywood Brown on the roster now, it's really possible he gets opened up and starts finding some touchdowns in the second half of the season. Not to mention, like, I mean, everyone's so quick to say Hopkins is washed. Like, he's still relatively, like, he's not a young man by any means, but he's 30 years old. Wide receivers can easily play. They're 30 and they're 31, and sometimes they're 32, but really it's their 31 season at an elite level. Not just like they hang around and don't get bumped out of the league. Like, they can hang around at 32, 33, 34, you know, even 34, 35 sometimes. They can hang around. Like, Hopkins can hang around that long, but he can play in his prime until entering his 31 age season being his last. So he's 30 years old. And his birthday is when? It doesn't say right here. But even if he turned 31 right before the year started, let's just see. He would easily have, in my opinion, the ability to walk into the season. His birthday was in June, so he just turned 30. He was 29. Hopkins easily has this 1 year left and probably maybe one more year left of being at his best. I think you Hopkins doubters out there are letting injury and disappointment overwhelm your senses here. Hopkins is one of the potential biggest 6+ round, maybe 7 plus. We took him in 7. We didn't take him in 6. 7 round steals you could find at the wide receiver position. He's not washed. You think he's washed. If you think he's washed, it's because you were disappointed and you're just mad. He was just 29 last month. That's not, for a wide receiver, you can be elite for 1 or 2 more years at 29 years old turning 30. At least 1 year. And I'm, again, at the top of your game elite. Not falling off. He isn't washed. People are absolutely ridiculous assuming Hopkins at 29 turning 30 has lost the ability to be the hardest defender or the hardest wide receiver in the league to defend. Like, he is. Let's not talk fantasy. Fantasy's not the number 1 wide receiver. I'm not an idiot. But when you talk about asking a D-back who one of the toughest wide receivers in the entire NFL is to cover, Hopkins' name will come up almost every time as a top 3, top 4, top 5 guy. If not number 1 to a lot of people. He's always double teamed. Always. Yeah, Walker was gone. I knew that was going to happen. I'm not mad, though. I love Pollard. I love Hopkins. These are 2 very good picks. But yeah, I'm a little bummed we didn't get Walker, but I got Walker in so many leagues. We'll be fine. I did want him in this Throne League. I was really upset that we didn't, potentially, get excited and reach for him there. But Mike Williams is a good pick. I would have probably been okay. Like, in retrospect, like, this is why I try to tell everybody not to worry about reaching on Walker around the deep into round 5. We were at the top of round 5, so it was a little delicate. But when you look at the fact that Walker would have been our 5.1, and then you say to yourself, what if we had Walker, and then here we have Ayuk and Hopkins back to back? Like, is Walker, Ayuk, and Hopkins better than Mike Williams, Pollard, Hopkins? I don't know. You could argue it, you know what I mean? So, like, I don't think we made a mistake either way. I'm really bummed we didn't get Walker. I think he could be a league winner, but at the same time, so can Tony Pollard. So can Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard can win leagues. Tony Pollard can win leagues in 2022. And we wouldn't have got both because the vote was between Pollard and Kenneth Walker. So we would not have got both. There's no way to come out with both. So do you like Tony Pollard or do you like Kenneth Walker better? You could easily make an argument. Tony Pollard's not in the driver's seat, but Kenneth Walker's not in there yet either, although the driver's seat is going to be wide open for him at some point this year. Week 4, week 5, week 2. But, I mean, good gracious, man. If Tony Pollard could be a 5-yard per carry running back in that Dallas offense if he finally gets the football and the keys to the lineup. So, I love it. Hopkins has good upside back end of the season. Absolutely rock out. I'm excited about our team. This is a good-looking squad right here. I'm proud of the Fantasy Football Show community. I think we dropped a really good draft so far. 29 on PEDs. He's ready, says Coach. Not Pollard, but not my team. Not Pollard, but not my team. It is your team, Kenny. Pretty pumped about not getting Penny's backup, says Kenny. What's up, boys? Just driving to work. What's up, Kenny? Mega Toast says, rank the Throne teams as of now. Our team. Taylor, Hill. I'll come back to our team. McCaffrey, Evans, Keenan Allen, Allen Robinson, Jacobs, Juju Smith-Schuster, Lamar Jackson. I'm not scared of this team. It's not bad. It's just Evans and Keenan Allen and A-Rob don't scare me as a 2nd, 3rd, and 4th drafted player yet. We'll see what happens. Eckler, Debo, Andrews, Gibson, Cooks, Walker. It's a good team. It's a good team. Eckler, Debo, Andrews, Gibson, Cooks. I would definitely say it's in the top 5. Harris, Fournette. I'm not scared of Fournette. I love ETN. I love DK and Hollywood Brown and Mooney. Those are good wide receivers for this type of strategy, but I think Fournette's going to be a huge miss, and it makes this team not so scary to me, but they could be in the mix for like a top 6, top 7 team. Jefferson, Javonte, James Conner, DJ Moore, Sutton, Hunt. Very good pieces to this team, especially at the top, but I'm not scared of the wide receivers. Not scared of Hunt. I like Hunt. If we got Hunt, I'd be okay with Hunt where he's getting drafted. That would have been a great find for us at 6.12, but I'm still not scared of it. Like Connor could get hurt. I'm not a big fan of Connor. Connor does well when you draft him late, and then when he rises up in ADP, he disappoints. If you remember in Pittsburgh, it's like I called Connor. I said Connor would break out and become a league winner when Lev Bell wasn't even talking about holding out. So no bigger fan than Connor. You will find no content on the internet, period, that was bolder on James Conner than I was when no one even knew who he was. But once he became the starter, he got overdrafted. He disappointed. Then he goes to Arizona. He's a sleeper under the radar. He becomes a monster again because of where you get him ADP-wise. Now he's going to be overvalued. I'm not too worried about acquiring him, especially as my 3rd drafted player. So not too scared of this team, even though it has Javonte and Justin Jefferson. Cooper Kupp, Aaron Jones, T. Higgins, J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins is not ready. I don't like that pick at all. Miles Sanders. I'm not a huge fan. Thielen, not scared of this team. I do like the first 2 picks, not scared of it. Henry, Barkley, A.J. Brown, Pitts, Mitchell, Bateman. This is a good team. This is a top 4, top 5 team. It all depends on Henry, though. Because Henry and Barkley are 2 players I do worry about more than other players at the levels that you're taking them, the 1st and 2nd round. I think this team could get knocked out by injury, but if it stayed healthy, it most certainly would be a top 4 or 5 team. Cook, Lamb, Elliott, Kittle, Judy, Cooper. I mean, I like Cook. I like Lamb. I don't like Elliott in the 3rd round. I think that's a huge reach. Kittle is pretty darn decent at 4.5. Judy, I like Judy. I like Cooper. It's good. It's a top 6, 7 team. I wouldn't say, oh, God, this is the top 3 team that we got to worry about. Chase, Chubb, Allen, Waller, Thomas, Clyde. Probably top 4 or 5 team. But it does depend on Chubb. Love Allen, love Chase, love Waller. Don't like Mike Thomas, but he could work out. Clyde, I'm excited about, but you got to tread lightly with Clyde. It's a good team. This is a top 4 or 5 team. Mixon, Diggs, Monty, Deontay, Godwin, Schultz. I don't like the Godwin pick at all. Schultz, I love Schultz. It's a little early for Schultz. I was hoping he would have fallen to us at 7.1, but he didn't. It's a little early for him, but he definitely could earn this for sure because I think he could be the number 2 or number 3 tight end. So I like the pick. It's a matter of could he have got him back? He wouldn't have because we would have taken him. Godwin, not even going to be ready for week 1. Like that, I don't understand that pick at all. And I know they're defensive over it because I've seen comments when in the comments people are like Godwin, and then they're like, what? But it's like he's not gonna play. He's not gonna play week 1. What are you drafting Godwin for? Not high. Deontay, I'm not a fan. 4th round is way too high for Deontay. I like Monty. I like Diggs. I like Mixon. Those are 3 good players. But the other part of that squad doesn't. Schultz, I love. Doesn't scare me. Monty doesn't scare me. He's good there. He's a decent pick there. I like him, but he's got a lot of risk. Chicago's rebuilding everything. Who knows what Monty's going to do. So it's not like it's a home run pick. So I'm not scared of the Monty pick. I like Mixon, Diggs, and Schultz, but that makes it to where this is a decent team. Sure. They're all decent. They're all good teams, but this team's not a threat to me yet. Swift, Kamara, Pittman, McLaurin, St. Brown. I mean, for what it is, it's a good team, but Kamara is going to knock this team out of contention early on. We might our player Hopkins, who's out 6 weeks, might be out less time than Kamara or the same amount of time, and this guy's at 2.2, it's going to be hard to recover from. Not to mention Pittman's a complete reach at 3.1. I know some of you love Pittman. I'm not saying don't trust in him. I'm not saying don't like Pittman. I'm not saying don't draft Pittman. But as your 3rd drafted player, it's risky. Adams, Kelsey, Akers. I don't like Akers this high. Waddle, good value. Not amazing, but I take him there. Mahomes was one of the steals of the draft, 6.1. I get that we're worried about him losing Hill, but that's a huge fall from grace. He was getting overdrafted, mind you, but in the late 2nd to early 3rd last year. So 6.1, he's going to see a downtick in upside and potential production, but that's still a steal. Dillon, I like Dillon a lot there. But overall, this team has, I believe, some running back questions that will be hard to overcome. But could it be carried by Kelsey, Mahomes, and Adams each week? Maybe. If Akers ends up proving me wrong, then this team could definitely be in the mix of a top 5 team. But until then, it's going to have a couple holes. So back to our team. We have Taylor, Hill, Breece Hall, Herbert, Mike Williams, Tony Pollard, and DeAndre Hopkins. Hopkins is a huge X factor for us. A huge X factor. I mean, if we start off with 2 wins, we're in trouble. Out of the 6 games. If we're 4-2, and then we get Hopkins back, and we have Hopkins, Tyreek Hill, and Mike Williams to go along with Breece Hall, Jonathan Taylor, and Herbert, we're going to be in the money. We're going to be right where we need to be. So it's all a matter about surviving. Maybe we take Rondell Moore later, and we cuff Rondell Moore to Hopkins. That's an idea, because then we're kind of protected. And then when Hopkins comes back, we slide Rondell Moore down to the bench. That might be a smart cuffing situation for us to get through. Hopkins and Rondell Moore together, not combining their totals, but 17 starts between, not counting both of them at the same time. 17 starts between Rondell Moore and Hopkins. So 6 weeks of Rondell, and take him out, and then the remainder of the season with Hopkins. That might be easily a top 10 wide receiver. So that could be a strategy that we deploy later. We'll have to take a look at it. But, yeah. Instagram, I'm going to let you go. Get on over to thefantasyfootballshow.com. YouTube.com/thefantasyfootballshow. Get on over there. Link is in the bio. Appreciate you. Yeah. I'm proud of you guys. This is a good team. This is a good group of boys. This is a good group of boys we got here. Trade in the league, we certainly can, just not mid-draft. You could only trade draft orders entirely, the whole draft order for the whole draft order before the draft started, but now there's no trading. 83 people in here. Smash the thumbs up button, says Blackbeard. Guys, annihilated. Dalvin Cook it. Dalvin Cook the like button. Absolutely crush it. James in the building. Not a fan of Pollard this year, says Jeff. We are fans of him in general, Jeff. Get on board, bro. You're going to want to be on this train. You're going to want to be on this train, this Tony Pollard train. Alan Lazard is a wide receiver 1 in Green Bay. He'd be a solid late pick. I agree, Chappie, to cuff with Hopkins if he's there. I bet he won't be there, but if he is there, certainly a good move. I like the idea. I love where your head's at. This team is just phenomenal. It's a good squad. It does live and die by Breece Hall, but you know what? I'm 100% comfortable with that. I can put any one of my teams on the line with Breece Hall. I feel good about it. If I lose a league because of Breece Hall, I'm fine with it. I've accepted that. I'm willing to take that risk. That risk is a very good risk for me to take, in my opinion. I mean, we live and die by Breece Hall, and I love it. I love that I can say that. That is a very good gamble. JT, Breece Hall. We could have 2 top 5 to 10 running backs, one being 1 to 2 overall in JT. We could have the number 1, at least top 2 or 3 quarterback, but maybe the number 1 quarterback. We could have potentially at some point 2 or 3 top 12 wide receivers, because I think Mike Williams can deliver top 12. I think he could be the lowest end wide receiver 1 in fantasy football, meaning 12 or 13 or 14, float around 12 to 14. He could be the last wide receiver 1 in fantasy football. And I think Tyreek Hill and Hopkins could both be wide receiver 1s once Hopkins is back. I'm not saying Hopkins will be a high wide receiver 1, but could he dance in that 10 to 14 range right there with Mike Williams? Yeah, he can. Can Tyreek Hill be a 5 to 10 wide receiver? Am I ranking him 1? No. But could it be 5 to 10? Absolutely. And Tony Pollard is like a league-winning flex. Like, we can use him at flex no matter what. But if he gets in there and he's starting games, he's averaging about 5 yards per carry, and he's going to have a double-digit touchdown season if he starts anywhere close to a near a full season, or even 12 games or something like that. And Zeke Elliott has mileage and MCL and knee issues that, guys, there's one thing about MCL tears that a lot of people aren't talking about. They're painful and they hurt for a while. My MCL tear ached in the cold weather for almost 10 years after I tore my MCL. I don't think people understand MCL injuries that well. And I've got my model right here. But your MCL is so you have your LCL and your MCL. And the MCL on the side of the knee, the inner part of the knee, it is so painful when you tear that sucker right here. It is so painful. It's when you tear your ACL and you snap your knee, this is the one part, the MCL ligament, that gives you the most pain. That's where my pain was just throbbing. My knee went sideways. I tore my MCL, I tore my LCL, I tore my ACL in the middle. You can see the ACL and the PCL in the back of the knee. I literally just jostled this knee around, and the most painful part was the MCL. And over 5 years later, when the weather would get cold, or when I would just overdo something, my MCL would be painful. Like, Zeke Elliott's not out of the woods in terms of knee issues. And so I think Tony Pollard's season, he's one of the biggest monster sleeping giant players that also maintains his value where you're taking him, because it's entirely baked in, boys. Entirely baked into the price. Because if he doesn't get a hold of the job, he'll earn what you're paying, and that's flex value. So you can win a league with Pollard, and you can also maintain flex value and not lose a league because of Pollard. So one of our better picks. I mean, in a sense, I like Walker more, because I think Walker could be a top 5 to 10 running back, but Pollard might be safer. Like, you could say that. Like, he's already entrenched in what you assume like a 50-50 timeshare. There's no way Elliott's taking on 70% of the work. Elliott probably can't even take on 60% of the work. Ron with a super chat. Ron, I appreciate you, good buddy. Ron's the man. How you like that new alert there, Ron? A lot easier to see. Just sitting up there like a beast that Ron is. Vamp says Zeke gonna go hard for a new contract, but you can't hold Pollard back. I agree, Vamp. Pollard's gonna look good. Pollard's one of the more exciting running backs in the entire National Football League, and he's so elusive. He's one of the most elusive running backs in the entire league, and I think he's gonna get unleashed. MCL and ACL as a defensive end took me 12 months to rehab. I lost a step as well. Yeah, Scott, I mean, my MCL tear was so painful, and just because you end up, like, getting better doesn't mean you don't still have potential, like, re-injury issues, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like you can just, like, oh, the MCL's behind me. Like, MCL's painful. MCL is, like, it can reoccur. So, and you get, especially if you get hit there, helmet to the knee, and then it's boom. He's in such pain, and he's got swelling, and he's older, and the mileage on those knees. Tony Pollard's starting games. It's not a matter of if Tony Pollard starts games, it's a matter of how many games Tony Pollard starts. That's my stance on Tony Pollard. Will he start 10 games? Wins a league. Does he start 4 games? He helps you win a league. Does he start 1 game or no games? He earns his value, and you don't get to say Tony Pollard won me a league, but you get to say I drafted Tony Pollard. He didn't quite do what I hoped he'd do, but he still earned his value. Thank you, Tony Pollard, for your service. You got what you paid for. That's the story here. Ayuk is about to fall. Fall out. The word at OTA camp was him and Lance have great rapport, and spending a lot of time together might end up being the number 1 wide receiver in San Francisco. I'm dialed into San Francisco, bro, and everybody's running their mouth on this topic. And Debo, unless Debo gets hurt, he's the number 1 wide receiver there. This whole narrative that he's going to get less wide receiver action because he's a running back and he doesn't have, like, if he doesn't get the touches, he won't be as valuable. Like, that's such a crazy way to look at it. Coach, I appreciate you. I'm not coming at you, but like when people say that, it's like, did they not realize he was the number 1 wide receiver in yards per catch in the entire NFL last year? Number 1 in the NFL in yards per catch. Do people realize before he transitioned to wide back, he was a top 5 to 7 wide receiver in fantasy football? Like, he is a wide receiver. He is a wide receiver, and he is the number 1 by far and away in San Francisco if he's healthy. Now, did the running between the tackles make him susceptible to injury? Yeah. And for that reason, Ayuk could be in trouble. But don't be surprised if Danny Gray comes in and starts getting a lot of work too if something happened to Debo. Like, wouldn't shock me if Danny Gray outscored like Ayuk if, let's say, Debo went down in week 1 and didn't play the rest of the year, and you got Danny Gray and you got Ayuk. Like, Ayuk was in the doghouse a big part of last year. Ayuk hasn't proven what everybody's acting like he's proven. And I like Ayuk. And if we almost drafted Ayuk, I'd be very excited about Ayuk's season. And I still am. Just because we didn't draft him doesn't mean I'm not excited. But this whole narrative that he's going to take over what Debo just was asked, hey, Debo, do you mind leaving the wide receiver position halftime and playing running back? I know you don't play running back. And then he killed it. He crushed it. And then everybody's acting like that doesn't tell you that he's such an athlete that he can come back to wide receiver and dominate at wide receiver. It's insane to me. It's insane to me that people actually fault him and take stuff away from him credit-wise and skill set-wise and expectation-wise and respect-wise because he went to another position that wasn't his and crushed it And now he's going to come back to wide receiver a little more. Not all the way. Don't listen to the narratives that he's not playing wide back anymore. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You're going to get your player to football. And not to mention, once he inks his contract, it's all posturing. I'm not playing 2 roles unless you pay me. He's trying to get double paid. Why not? Once he gets inked on paper, he wants the football. He's not going to come in the huddle and they go, Lance goes, blue 32, 76 hatchback, flex capacitor, 27 baked potato, mashed potato left. You think this man, Deebo Samuel's going to say, excuse me, Trey, I am no longer running that play. I only catch the football. I don't want the football. You really think Deebo's that kind of person after what he did last year, after what he sacrificed, after everything he put on the line last year, shortening his career by playing running back? I don't know how many, let's just say he shortened his career by 4 games because he played running back for a quarter of a season. You think that's the kind of guy that doesn't want the football? He wants the football at wide back. He wants the football at quarterback. He wants the football full time. Now, the Niners will be smart not to run him up the gut, but that's not wide back. Wide back is out wide, catching the football behind or at the line of scrimmage and taking it downfield and making plays so that Jimmy G didn't have to because he couldn't. Deebo, you had a better shot at getting the ball to Deebo right away instead of letting Jimmy G try and move it down the field. That's why the wide back position developed. It wasn't when he was in I formation running up the A gap. People really misunderstand when they hear Deebo won't play running back as much that they think he won't play wide back. And that's a misconception that people are going to learn about quick. Thoughts on Swift? I love Swift this year. This year's different than last year. No, I didn't come around on Swift. I like Swift. I love Swift's talent. I hated his situation last year. He had Anthony Lynn ruin him for a half of a season. And my Niner people in here, put your earmuffs on. You know I support you. I'm a big Niner supporter. I'm not a Niner fan. I'm a Niner supporter. But you guys are just blindly excited about Anthony Lynn because he's just your coach. You don't realize that this guy was an absolute debacle in Detroit last year. And he's not a good find. Like, maybe Kyle Shanahan can get the best out of him and compartmentalize his skill sets and not allow his negative abilities and inabilities to sour what he is good at. But I love Niner fans because they're loyal. And no matter what, you bring a new coach in, it's like, oh, we love Anthony Lynn. Like, you don't even know what Anthony Lynn did last year. It was a debacle. Rock Out with a super chat. Rock Out says, CMC, Henry, Barkley, what Rick would you take? Rock Out, you've been on a typewriter or something lately, bro. CMC, Henry, Barkley, what Rick would you take? I'm trying to figure out what you mean. What pick would you take? CMC, Henry, Barkley. Rock Out, clarify this for me. You don't have to super chat it again, but let me see. Mr. T, subscribe to the channel.
Let's go! Mashed potatoes!
Mr. T, welcome, buddy boy. Welcome to your new home. Buckle up, saddle up, pitch your tent. Let's go. Rock Out. I'm trying to decipher this, bro. I'm trying to decipher this. CMC, Henry, Barkley. What Rick would you take? What pick would I take? What would I take? What risk would you take? What risk would you take? Okay. Gotcha. Thank you, Rock Out. Thank you, Rock Out, buddy boy. Rock Out's been rocking out here from the beginning, man. This is an OG you're looking at. You're looking at an OG in the works right here. What risk would I take? I would take CMC. I think I would take CMC or Henry. I wouldn't take Barkley. Barkley's going in round 2 now. It's not that I don't think Barkley could deliver round 2 value. It's that I love a handful, not one, not two, a handful of players more than Barkley in round 2. Like every time I'm on the clock in round 2 and Barkley's there, a handful of players I like more. Just like 2 handfuls in some cases more than I like Barkley. So it's about the other players. It's not really about Barkley. Henry, I mean, he looks so good running up the hill, right? The grassy hill. It looks like he's running downhill. Like, I understand how attractive it looks when a player's working out and he looks like a beast. And let's be honest, his foot looks like it's holding up well. So I don't anticipate any setbacks. Part of me wonders if he had that plate taken out of his foot, and we're going to find that out because he had a plate in his foot. But this guy has mileage that you can't, you just can't overlook. His mileage you can't overlook, Rock Out. And to me, and not that CMC doesn't, but I feel like both these teams are overworking the player. Both of these teams need to dial them back in order to keep them healthy. And if they do that, then both these players won't produce what we're used to. And if they give both these players the volume that we're used to, they will break. I lean CMC. I feel like the touches concern me more with Henry because he crossed that 400 carry barrier and a 2,000-yard season in the same season. And I find it hard to believe he's going to have a healthy year coming off a broken year, which was predicted by those things. Rushing for 400 yards predicts breakdown. He broke down. Rushing for 2,000 yards predicts a breakdown and a cut. Your stats cut in half. His stats were cut in half. He broke down. History was right. Derrick Henry was set to break. Your boy Smitty talked about it. Sell him by week 10. He broke before week 10. And you could say it's coincidence. You could say it's luck. You can't predict injury. Yeah, you can to a degree. There's a probability at least at play. And the probability of Derrick Henry rebounding and being a top 5 running back all year long, maybe for week 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you trade him. Trade him before, I would say, week 6. If he's tearing it up, I'd trade him before week 6 because the odds of Derrick Henry reviving himself at an older age with the mileage that he's encountered, I don't care if he had a year off in a sense, the way people word that. The mileage is insane. The mileage is insane. At least McCaffrey didn't have the foot injury that Henry had or those mileage barriers that he broke. It's really tough. It's really tough. And here's the thing, and I appreciate that, Meet the Woo, but here's the thing. I'm going to be wrong. Everyone's wrong. I'm going to be wrong on 1 out of 4 things minimum. That's the way fantasy football works. If you are 75% accurate, you are doing something absolutely amazing. So you're going to at least get, when you're talking about these big type of things, you can't hit on everything. So if your gut screams Derrick Henry, if your gut screams CMC, if your gut screams that you love Saquon Barkley, don't let me talk you out of it. If you're on the fence about it, you kind of feel the same way, we're like-minded with it, let that help you and hammer home a point. But if you truly feel like Barkley's going to have a top 3 running back season, don't let me ruin that from you. Don't let me take that from you if that's what you believed before you got here. Because I'm telling you right now, I'm going to miss 1 out of 4 big, bold predictions. That would make me a wizard in 2022. And I've had years that accurate, but I've also had years where I've missed a bunch because injuries can take anybody's prediction out. I'll have years in the fantasy industry, according to Fantasy Pros, I finished number 1 in tight end rankings, in draft rankings, 2 out of the last 3 years. In quarterbacks, I think I was number 5 and number 7 in 2 out of the last 3 years. In running backs, I want to say I was 20 something, and then one of the years was 50 or 60 or whatever, because I had Clyde Edwards-Helaire ranked really high, and I missed him. I had Drake ranked really high, and I missed him. And so you're going to have those misses. They're going to happen. But like Brett Favre, you can't let an interception scare you off of another bold call or your gut instinct. I couldn't let Clyde Edwards-Helaire affect how I ranked Najee Harris last year, so we went all in on Najee Harris. We didn't let Clyde affect us. We didn't listen to the hate that, oh, you missed on Clyde, you're going to do it again with Najee. No, Najee was a safe 10 to 14 overall pick, and people made fun of us for it. Breece Hall is safe at 3.1. If you're forced to take him there, you should absolutely take Breece Hall in round 4, especially in underdog drafts, underdog fantasy. Link down in the description or use promo code Smitty. This guy, Breece Hall, is falling to round 4. And if you're in a draft like we were in this throne draft, or are in this throne draft, it makes sense to take Breece Hall at 3.1 because look at the running backs aside from ETN that were left after Breece Hall. Breece Hall at 3.1. You're going to go from left to right, okay? Next running back available, I don't mind Gibson. He's a decent pick, but it was, I'm sorry, where were we? Breece Hall, third round. ETN. I loved ETN. We kind of waver between ETN and Breece Hall. Connor, give me Breece Hall. Elliott, give me Breece Hall. Monty, give me Breece Hall. Akers, are you out of your mind? Give me Breece Hall. Gibby, I do like Gibby a little bit, but give me Breece Hall. There was no JK. He's not even ready. He won't be ready. This is Barkley all over again. Writing on the wall. JK is not ready. No news is bad news. There were no running backs. People said we took Breece too early. They're out of their mind. But there's a difference. You have to understand the situation. You need to know what time it is. And the thing is, Breece Hall at 4.5 wins you a league. But he also wins you a league to a little lesser extent. But he still wins you a league from anywhere in 3.1 to 3.12. If Breece Hall is your third player that you're drafting on draft day, you have win a league potential because the guy has top 5 running back upside. I'm not saying he's a lock or guaranteed to be number 5, but he could be the 5th ranked running back in fantasy football at the end of 2022, and I won't be shocked one single bit. You're going to miss at times, guys. It shouldn't affect you. If you have a gut instinct about a player and you have a good history of landing such gut instincts, don't let anybody, including me, talk you out of that bold prediction. And I'm not letting anybody talk me out of how I feel about Breece Hall, how I feel about Kenneth Walker, who has more of the risk that everybody talks about baked into his value. Kenny Walker's going in 6 to 7 to 8 round territory. That bakes in that risk that we don't see him until week 4. But make no mistake about it. You draft Kenneth Walker in round 4 because I'm telling you, he has top 5 to 10 upside. You're not paying attention because drafting Kenneth Walker in round 4 is a huge mistake because you're not using ADP to your advantage. It's ridiculous. You're not listening if you take Kenneth Walker in round 4. You're not paying attention. You got to let him fall. You got to let him fall. You got to let him fall or you don't play ball. Is essentially the way I feel about Kenneth Walker. Why? Smitty, if he's a top 5 to 10 running back, why wouldn't you just take him early? Because it's all an odds game. He could get hurt. Pete Carroll could play games. You have to protect the risk into the value. And at 6 and 7 round value for Walker, that protects him into not playing at all until week 6 if you wanted. That would make him still a home run, sleeping giant, win a league player in round 6 or round 7, even if he didn't touch the field until week 6. So I don't want to hear anybody come at me in week 1, in week 2, in week 3, even week 4, if Penny's still getting like half of the work and people going, this is Javonte all over again. You aren't paying attention. That's why he's going around 6 to 7. Because he's not entrenched in the starting job yet. If he was entrenched and embedded into that starting lineup, guess what? Kenny Walker would be a 3rd or a 4th rounder. Kenneth Walker would be getting drafted right alongside of Breece Hall. So understand what you're doing and don't come back and say, why is Kenny Walker not starting week 1? Why is Kenny Walker not getting 80% of the... Smitty, are we dealing with Javonte all over again? Please protect your value in your investment and draft him in the right spots. You'll get him in enough leagues to where you'll be fine. Don't overdraft him. Don't reach. And if someone sneaks and grabs him, you're going to have him. He's falling on average in enough leagues. You're going to be fine. You're going to own enough Walker shares to make you happy until your heart's content. Come week 8, 9, 10, and he's blowing up. There's a reason he's a 6th or 7th rounder. I appreciate every single one of you that joined me for this Fantasy Football Throne draft and drafting. We have ourselves a team. That team is on roster or on screen right here. Herbert, Taylor, Breece Hall, Tyreek Hill, Mike Williams. I love it. I look so good. DeAndre Hopkins, Tony Pollard. You guys absolutely crushed it. This is why you are the best community, and you're going to win this league in 2022. Get on over to thefantasyfootballshow.com for your one-on-one text advice, your bold predictions, your rankings, your articles. I have more rankings than you could possibly desire, from super rookie rankings to rookie rankings to top 200 to dynasty to redraft to everything you can think of. And the one-on-one text device. Go on over to thefantasyfootballshow.com and become a YouTube exclusive member. The link is in the description. That's where you see all the awesome emojis supporting the channel. And go to Underdog by clicking the link down below and draft Walker late. Go do it, Underdog. '81 still in here. Please smash that thumb up button, guys. See you later, Scott. See you later, Niner by Nature. Niner by Nature in the hizzy. Trey Lance season, baby. Trey to the Bay. King of the NFC. Niner by Nature. Philip, take it easy. Blackbeard, appreciate you guys. Hit that thumb up button. Smash it. Dalvin Cook, that thumb up button. Vamp, I'll see you later. Scotty, I'll see you later. Blackbeard, Kenny, peace out, Kenny. Wolf, I'll see you, Wolf. Shoddy. Shoddy's asking a boring question here. Bring that up next time, Scotty. I gotta go. Is there a chance at all Melvin Gordon wins the job again? He could linger there for a little while. Win the job? I mean, no. I mean, there's a shot at anything if let's say Javonte got hurt, but Javonte was the #1 tackle-breaking running back in the entire National Football League last year at halftime. He's gonna ball out, bro. Ricky, see you later. Shoddy, bring that up next show, and I'll definitely answer. I'll dig into it. Sorry, I got limited time here. Carrie, appreciate you. Jack, I'll see you later, Jack. Drew C in the house. Best roster in the Cup League so far, says Drew C. Go check it out. Swaggy later, Swaggy. Appreciate you. Austin Stark in the house. The other Stark is here. Meet the Woo. I'll see you later, buddy. Ron, the man, the myth, the legend. Ron Navy, ladies and gentlemen. Ron, we'll see you later, buddy boy. Hod Prime, Kevin, Austin Stark, Avi. Rock Out, of course. Rock Out. I'm sorry I missed your super earlier. I think I'm caught up with you. Rock Out on the typewriter, y'all. Rock Out on the typewriter. Carlos. All right, guys. I'm out of here. I'll see you all at 7 p.m.